All right, everybody. First off, Rob, you're a viewer of the channel, and you came across a friend of yours that has a book written. We're gonna get into it, but Rob, I appreciate you for bringing him my way, man.
For sure, Josh.
Hey, buddy, you keep watching the content and keep supporting. I appreciate it. So, what's your name and where are you from?
Um, well, my name is Donald Richardson. I'm from the out in Long Island, West Coast. You know what I'm saying? The West Side. You know, more towards the West. I lived out there all my life, and basically,
You lived in hold on, you lived in the West Coast all your life, but you're out Long Island right now.
no, well, I call West Coast. We call West Coast Long Island, going like literally out
Okay,
in the city.
okay,
You know, so more towards West. Now I'm living out East.
okay.
However, you know, I did accomplish something as far as my writing a book
Yeah.
about. My book is, as you can see here, it's about Tupac. For the
Be-
viewers, it's
Behind the Walls with Tupac Shakur by Donald Richardson. Ladies and gentlemen, go check it out. Are you selling it on Amazon or anything? Is there any way people can go out there and try to
yes,
buy it?
I'm signed on to Amazon, and hopefully I'll be in Barnes and Noble soon. And what I'm doing now is I'm promoting my book. And what I did was I did 22 years. Well, let me give you a brief story about myself and about my inclinations of how I met Tupac Shakur.
Excellent. I don't even have to ask you. You already know the drill.
Yeah. So, you know, like I'm a 20-year veteran of the New York prison system, state prison system in New York.
Okay.
I've been over 22 years of my life in and out of prison systems. In one stint of one of my bids, I came across, I had the highlights of fortunately meeting the infamous, legendary Tupac Shakur, the famous rap artist. It
Where
has,
were you at? Which facility were you in when you met Tupac?
we was in Rikers Island Correctional Facility.
And he was in general population?
No, he wasn't in general population. I was in a segregated commune because I basically was involved and affiliated, you know what I'm saying, with the gangs back when I was younger. And I had a little prestige for, you know, for my misbehaviors. I was placed in a high classified section, you know, had the highlights of having Tupac Shakur enter this highlight section because he was so, he was a high profile inmate.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
I was a high profile inmate in my own way as far as my notoriousness in Rikers Island Correctional Facility.
Okay.
So, however, we were inclined in the section. We actually happened to become friends. However, Tupac Shakur was court ordered to not be in affiliate or mingle with inmates. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At all. But I had the prestige and with some of the correctional officers to get close to this Tupac Shakur.
Okay.
I'll briefly give you a synopsis of what I had reading in my book and what my book entails about, which I'll explain to you now. This is like I said, I'm a 20-year veteran of New York State prison system. Donald Richardson, that's who I am, became close friends with the infamous Tupac Shakur in Rikers Island. Not only have I become his friend, but I become his confidante. For the first time, me, Donald Richardson, will deliver. But I go by the nickname Snake. That was my notorious nickname back then, and I will bring to
That's not a
you.
good nickname, man.
Uh,
That's not a good nickname.
yeah, but that was a nickname that I had for my notoriousness
Yeah, yeah,
back then, you know. But
yeah.
anyway, um, I'll deliver you the untold story about what Tupac revealed to me in Rikers Island Correctional Facility, the truth about the Quad Studio shooting, also about the Nia Jackson, who he was accused of, and which he was presently in prison for. So Behind the Walls with Tupac Shakur will ultimately, it will bring a message for today's youth and those who are responsible for them. And this is what I explained in my book about the untold stories that were never exposed to the public before.
Yeah.
Right? This is me. This is me, and this is Tupac Shakur and me. in Rikers Island Correctional Facility. I don't know if you can see it. That's a picture of me and him.
Damn, so they let y'all wear pretty much street clothes back then in there.
Yes. Those are pretty much street clothes. But the only thing that we haven't had the highlights of having a camera in there. So a camera was from the correctional officers who wanted pictures with Tupac so adamantly, for whatever reasons, they smuggled the camera inside the facility.
Wow.
Yes, they broke several laws to get this camera in there, which I won't reveal the name of the correctional officers, for those innocent or guilty, but the thing is that they did, and I've had the highlights of getting a picture taken of me and Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, so that's amazing though, man. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I want people to go get that book and read it, man. I'm gonna go out and get it, man. On Amazon, correct?
Yes. I have a website on Amazon, and I just had re-edited the book to make for standards, so I can be able to have the public see, right, what I'm dealing with and what is in store for him. Now, these chapters consist of, in this book that I wrote, these chapters consist of the true untold story of what Pac experienced while he was in Rikers Island, also of what he revealed to me that has never been revealed to the public before. And this is the marriage proposal. I'll give you a couple of topics. The marriage proposal to Jada Pinkett, okay, with him and her. Him and Janet Jackson's endeavors when they made the movie Poetic Justice. The Quad Studio shooting when they got shot in Manhattan, what he told me verbatim about what transpired and who he truly thought any type of involvement in that. He'll also reveal his most intimate sentiments about his mother. I have a chapter called Dear Mama, when his first video, the video that he was that he had really made while he was in prison, right? For the first time that he'd seen it with me, the correctional officer had a way of bringing the TV in and show him this. And it was the first time that Tupac ever cried. I've seen him ever cried, and the public never seen him cry. So in prison, I just revealed how Tupac exposed some of the sentiments and some of the carings he had for women, you know what I'm saying, all around the world.
That's crazy. I don't want you going into detail with the stuff that's in your books. I want people to go buy it. But I will ask you a few things, and I'll let you, whatever stuff you might have to say, you can say. But
right.
Let me ask you this first. But now, what if you were to say his character? What kind of character does he have? Did he have when you knew him in lockup? Did he share? Did he, was he a good dude, or was he just,
Well, Tupac was just like any young Black African-American youth growing up in society with an attitude of arrogance portrayed with his upbringing. And Tupac was brought up in poverty-stricken. His mother was affiliated, his family was affiliated with the Black Panther movement, and he was brought up a revolutionary. So he also had that type of mindset in him. However, Tupac clearly exposed to me how he did not want to be a revolutionary or be portrayed as a revolutionary or to follow in the footsteps of his mother. It's the Black Panther movement, that went on in the 70s. His family, for namesake, that was involved, Asante Shakur, his aunt, and these are people that he did not want to be affiliated with having their type of image. He wanted to let the world know that he is who he is. He's Tupac Shakur, and he wants to stay Tupac Shakur, and he's from the poverty-stricken area, and he wants to stay just that. He doesn't want the exposure of being treated like a celebrity. His best friend was Mike Tyson, and him and Mike Tyson had the same type of attitude. They didn't like to wear bulletproof vests. They didn't want to be able to go anywhere with a whole bunch of security. They wanted to just go into places just like they were in celebrity status or weren't famous and be the person who they were. He was 22 years old when I first met him, and he was just like any other 22-year-old male growing up society today. His mindset was just being arrogant. A person of that age has a attitude of me against the world, which we expose in his records, which is one of his famous records. And it's just like he's not hard to explain. If you look at any average 22-year-old kid today and talk to him, you'll be talking to the Tupac of this one.
Okay, now, besides I'm trying to put myself in Rikers Island right now and picture Tupac. Besides the camera and that they brought in and the TV and stuff like that, was there any other kind of special treatments that he was getting from correctional officers or whatever the case was?
Well, Tupac, he was he couldn't really get special treatment. The special treatment that he was getting was ordered by the judge to be by himself, and his treatment was to be guarded 24/7, to be escorted 24/7, to not have any type of intermingling with other inmates because of his status, being high profile. However, the specialness that he was attended to with the correctional officers, the love that they showed him, the people from other units that correctional officers and the people that were visiting him, it shows that his special attention was to be it was outspoken. It was going to be there regardless. But so the special treatment that he would receive in Rikers Island, he got it through the means of me being with him, me having my prestige, and the correctional officers that I had a good rapport with, breaking the rules, bending the rules as much as they can to give him any type of treatment that we could. And like I said, Sony had came in personally and put a TV in his cell, which was something that was very rare at that time, to have a TV placed in your cell by Sony Records. So that was something that was very, very special treatment.
And he was allowed to have that at all times?
Yes, he was the only one. He was the only one in Rikers Island that had a TV in his cell. I swear to God, I didn't really believe that they can really make it happen, but they pulled some strings, and before you know it, I'm waking up and I see Tupac and I see Sony people putting TV in his cell. I just, wow, okay. But however, as far as his treatment with correctional officers and everything like that, they treated him fair, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And they didn't give him any special treatment that could have been done legally. Any special treatment had to be done, with bending the rules. You know what I'm saying? So in my book, I exposed the whole time that me and Tupac were together, day after day, what we went through, what we talked about, what he shared with me. Like I said, his sentiments about women in general, his mother, about his sentiments behind the Biggie Smalls, the East Coast, West Coast beef that was promulgated by his paranoia and his emotional differences with how he was, trying to place himself as, in society, and what occurred to him and what he thought that with Biggie Smalls and Bad Boy Records and how he was unfairly set up by them, which was not an accurate attitude to have. But Tupac, he actually blamed Biggie, his entourage, and Bad Boy for having him being victimized and being shot 5 times at Car Studios because of the fact that, I won't put too much out there because it's written in my book, but this is public knowledge. The people who really did rob him and set him up were people from Brooklyn and stick-up kids that were that Biggie should have known about. This is where the whole hype came in. When he knew Biggie was there, he felt that Biggie should have known that there were Brooklyn stick-up kids and he should have informed him or warned him or had some type of knowledge of it, in which Biggie didn't. And that's when he accused Biggie of having some type of involvement. And this is where the whole East Coast, West Coast thing blew out of proportion. Yeah. And, Tupac was just the type of guy. He was adamant. He was arrogant. He was self-centered in a certain way. He had a love for women. He had a love for kids. He had a love for poetry. And I just happened to just get into his mindset a little bit as an older brother, like a mentor, you know, and we became friends. And he actually, you know, after we both got released, he went his way, I went my way. We were supposed to meet back up, and he was mysteriously killed the next year.
Well, let me ask you this, man. Out of all, you say he always talked about the women and stuff like that, and his love for the women. And what woman did he speak on the most, if he did?
Okay, the woman he spoke on the most. These were the women that were involved in his life at this time. Queen Latifah, Sister Soldier. It was at the time his mother. His mother was his favorite. You know, his favorite. Like he would talk about his mother so much. You know, that he literally used to shed a tear when he used to talk about the love he had for women and his mother, you know, mainly his mother. And a lot of people didn't, I don't know, they really didn't see this side of him because they seen the public image of him spitting at cameras and, you know, the FU and, you know, I don't give a F. But Tupac was just speaking out, right? How he truly was who he was. It was something not it wasn't something that he had to force. It was something that was naturally come out. And like with any 22-year-old that's living today, a young white or black youth or Hispanic, doesn't make, the attitudes are the same. Tupac was no one that you could say, well, how special was he? The specialness of Tupac was the gift. Him to publicly, you know what I'm saying, have his outbursts, publicly demand his say-so on his how life is being and how people are being treated in this lifetime. And he was amazingly poetic. He was smart. And, you know, I didn't see anything irregular about Tupac that would make him so, you know, so far distance from any 22-year-old youth growing up in society today.
Did he do any kind of workouts in jail or anything, man?
That's the thing. That I mean, see, I was his workout partner. I was like his instructor. I used to get him to work out because I was the only one to get the closest to him.
Now, what do you mean closest? Were y'all like, was the cell doors open, or were you across from him in the cell block? How was that?
He was segregated in like cell units. Yeah. Right. In my book, if you can really see, this is his cell back there, and it's a locked entry where no one can get back there. He was the only one back there. Now I'm actually in a dorm setting in front of him.
Okay.
And I can get to talk to him through the bars, but I had access to actually getting back there with him because of my rapport with the correctional officers at the time, and they gave me the power to, if they let him out with me with the other to mingle with other inmates, I would have to protect him. I would have to make sure nothing happened to him. Their job is on the line, and they knew that I can hold it down. So they had created a position for me as his bodyguard. And that's when I became Tupac's bodyguard in Rikers Island Correctional Facility, you know, per se, which under the guidance of the correctional officers to let him out of his cell unit to mingle with other inmates.
Now, did he have to give the green light to the correctional officer? Yeah, that's cool. Or
yes, he actually wanted to get out and mingle. He didn't want to stay locked and confined in his own cell by himself and just, you know, like not to be able to mingle with others. He wanted to be like everyone else. He didn't want to be treated like that. It was that treatment was not, it was like punishment more towards him than just giving him the freedom of having to enjoy his rights as to conversate and be have a healthy, you know, type of environment around him.
Yeah. Did back then, how was the prison meals, man? I don't know if you ever heard the term swole, or, you know, cook up like ramen noodles and stuff like that. What was the meals that he was eating in there, man? Like
Yeah,
off of
well,
canteen or commissary?
well, actually, you're right. You had the Roman, you had the
Oh,
noodles.
they had noodles back then too.
Yeah, you had the noodles. You could make up your little food in a plastic bag. You put your rice in there with hot water, and you let your plastic bag. You tie it in a knot, and you put towels around it until it heats up and blows up, and there's your rice. You
So
know.
he was making stuff like this in there.
Well, yeah, we used to make it as a group. So usually like groups to get together, and each one to put in a little bit. One put in the rice, one put in the tuna fish, one put in this. Well, you know what? You got a nice little meal together, and you all eat.
Yeah.
And it's fulfilling. It's really fulfilling in the time
So
like that.
so y'all broke bread in there, man.
Yeah, you break bread like that. And the thing about me and Tupac, you know what I'm saying, I mean, I had enough permission from the correctional officers actually smoke weed with him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, that must
Yeah.
have been.
Oh, Rikers Island. Rikers Island in the early '90s was one of the most notorious prisons that I have ever had the highlights of being involved in, because everything goes. The correctional officers, you know what I'm saying, everything goes. I mean, to selling drugs, you had correctional officers, you had captains, you had selling drugs, you had them, you had prostitution going on with coming to correctional officers. You had you had so many things going on in there, and I'm saying, that it was just like another world. It was like you were living in the streets, but you're just confined in some type of big compound.
That's
It's amazing.
wild. That's wild, man.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's an unbelievable story, and I don't want to ask you too much because you do have your book, but if you don't mind, I appreciate you coming on to the show, man. This is very interesting to me. It's crazy how things come my way, man.
Yeah.
Talking to
Yeah.
someone that was locked up with Tupac, that's
Yeah.
absolutely unbelievable, man. He's one of my favorite rappers, and I'm really trying to, when I think of him being locked up, it's totally different now. By you talking about him and stuff like that. That's crazy to picture him with a Sony television in his cell and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and get pictures taken with the COs. That's pretty crazy, man. But it's believable. It's definitely believable. I mean, it's damn Tupac. But do me a favor and tell people where they can find your book one more time before we end this video. I want everyone to be able to go check it out, man. It sounds like it's gonna be a good one.
Okay. You can find the highlights of my book, Behind the Walls with Tupac Shakur. It's on Amazon. So if you just click on Amazon and click on Behind the Walls with Tupac Shakur by Donald Richardson, my website will show up. And you'll be able to purchase books online, and also you'll be able to purchase books through ebooks.
Okay. And what's the price of the book?
The price of my book is $20. With shipping and handling, it'd be $23.95 to be shipped to you.
That's
If
not bad.
you did ebook, reading would be $14.95. And also, if you attended one of my book signings, which I just had one previously a few weeks ago, which we're going to have one soon again, hopefully at the Jacob Javits Convention Center, if I can get this thing arranged. You will be able to get an autographed signature of my book, with my inscriptions thanking you for your support, which would be just $20 a book.
That's awesome, man. I'm going to leave the link pinned in the comment section of this video.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on here and telling a little bit about your book and your story, man. It was a good one. I appreciate it.
Okay, Josh, it was a pleasure talking to you. And in the near future, like I say, I'll link my information to you. And if I could be of any of assistance to you, and just contact me or contact Rob, and we'll take it from there.